head to our last group, who are the national practitioners. They will, of course, also be very important, more than important, in the Bonn process, as they are the ones who work directly together with the young people.
And the first person we are going to talk to is Branimira Penić from the Croatian Youth Network. Good to have you. Which concrete impulses for youth work practice are you taking home from this convention?
Hello, everybody. Before I start, I just wanted to thank you for inviting me to give my perspective on this. And I want to thank all of you for these 4 amazing days that we had now. And I'm really glad that I was invited to talk from the perspective of youth worker. It's one of my favorite roles that I have. And I really like the quote in the beginning that we should not ask ourselves what Bonn process can do for us, but what we can do for the Bonn process. And I really like this idea of shared responsibility for the implementation. I really think that youth workers can add to the implementation in numerous ways, but I will outline 3 key areas, key ways that I think are very important. And I will say I'm sorry if I repeat myself, but I think it's really good to see that we have common messages that we want to express and that we have some kind of common vision. So I'm sorry that I'm repeating myself, but not so much sorry. Okay, the first area that I think it's really important to outline is quality of youth work. So I think that building structures within European youth work, such as before mentioned platforms, are something that youth workers can really add a great value to it, because it comes from our experience, everyday experience. So I think that we can add to development of such the platforms for exchange of our information, learning opportunities, tools, methodologies, good practices that we developed for years, for decades even. Second really important key area that we can add to is cooperation within and beyond community of practice. And I think that is something that is quite necessarily, and I'm really excited and passionate about it, because if we want to build the common narrative that was mentioned numerous times during this convention, I think it's really important to reach out outside of our little bubble, of course, to enhance cooperation vertically and horizontally between our community of practice, but also to reach outside of this bubble. Because I really hope one day, like in a couple of years, I will be able to say I'm a youth worker and I will not have to explain it any further. So how I see youth workers can add to this key area, I mean, we cooperate with different local stakeholders every day within our regular work. So I think that we already know who they are and how to communicate with them and how to include them. Now we just have to be a little bit more active into including them in the youth work topics. And the third key area that is connected with the previous is promotion and recognition of the Bonn process. So I do believe that Bonn process will give youth workers bigger recognition and credibility, but we also can give better promotion and recognition to the Bonn process. We already saw that we have logo, and it's great to have visual representation, but now I think that we also have to be vocal and to create spaces to discuss about Bonn process, about agenda, about youth work, to be more active in advocating it in all levels, local, national, and European ones. To conclude, I was really happy that while we were listening about the presentation of declaration, I could find all 3 of my key areas inside it. So that means the declaration and agenda and Bonn process is very relevant to my youth work reality, which is really good because it will be easier for grassroots youth workers to support it. And my last thought is that I think that now we as youth workers, what we can do is to have the courage to act and to seize this moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Branimira Penić.
And next we come to a person whose name I really like. I was really looking forward to say this. We come to Janez Jani Majes. I really think this sounds very nice. He's National Council, Youth Council from Slovenia, and we also hope to have a picture and audio for this nice name.
Yes.
How do you think young people will benefit from the vision and pathway that we have created together here?
Hello there, thank you for liking my name. Greetings from Slovenia. So, as the National Youth Council, we will try to transfer the youth work agenda to the national level and bring it closer to our network of different youth organizations. We will also attempt to make that happen by designing educational content for youth workers that include the elements of the European youth work agenda, and also by focusing on promotion of youth work so we can reach more young people and continue to improve the recognition of youth work and youth workers in the eyes of different stakeholders. If that will be done properly, we believe that youth in Slovenia will benefit from others recognizing what their passion and growth as an active member of society is. And that key stakeholders understand that youth work is the key element to achieve that. We think that it is really important that all the great ideas from this process don't stay here, but reaches the youth, every and each one of them, no matter how involved they already are. And we will try to make it so. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best in achieving your goals.
Thank you, and now I can say it once again. Yes, thank you, Janez Jani Majes, for your answer. Thanks.
Next is Hans Mcgielsen, Vice Chair of Intercity Youth. Which chances come with the Bonn process for local and regional youth work and for connecting the dots between the different levels in Europe?
Well, I'm reacting on behalf of the Dutch delegation to this conference. First, we are happy with the decision that there will be every 5 years a youth work convention. This decision gives every European country not only the possibility to implement Bonn, but also to prepare the next Youth Work Convention 2025. Each country delegation should play a coordinating role in their own country, sometimes in combination with a structure which is already existing. Every European country should make a 5-year plan of activities to be organized at national and local level. Also is a 5-year communication plan needed to make ongoing visible the added value of youth work. We need the stimulating role of the national government. Municipalities and associations of municipalities in each country should be more involved next year and also later on. Europe Goes Local and Erasmus Plus could be instruments to organize the exchange of information between the European countries, and if we work in the proposed way, the result will be that youth work gets more flesh at her bones. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hans Mcgielsen.
And last but not least, we welcome Alexandre Fonseca, freelance trainer. Which impulses do you take away for your work as a trainer from what we just heard all the time here at the convention?
Thank you very much. And nice pronunciation of my name, by the way. It's not the Portuguese way, but thank you. You can just also call me Alex. I'm very happy to be here, very grateful. I want also to give a special word to the organizers of the conference, also to the coordinators of facilitators and rapporteurs, and to the drafting group, and also to my colleague facilitators that really created a nice community and nice environment. It's a special day for me. It's the day that I'm no longer a young person according to the EU programs. It's also the Human Rights Day. And finally, it's also the day that we have the declaration that we all been waiting for. As a trainer and as part of the pool of trainers of the Youth National Council in Portugal, I am happy to say that we will be committed in working towards not only the Bonn process, but also the priorities of the presidencies, the trio of presidencies of Portugal, Germany, and Slovenia. And these priorities are youth policy approach based on rights, the connection of EU to young people and of young people to EU, and non-formal education and informal education as a way to support the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Finally, and this is a priority that I hold dear, the reinforcement of participation of young people at all levels of policy. In 2012, just to share a couple of stories very quickly that also pertain to my path as a trainer and how they can support and how also they relate to the Bonn process. Just to reference this story as a way to show the importance of mentorship, especially in the times that we are living now. In 2012, I learned about the Step Forward exercise that many of you know, many of you implemented throughout the years. And when I tried to implement it in a school where I was working, I completely failed. It turned horrible. But what meant more for me and what I remember from that day was the support and mentorship that I had with the teacher that was working with me, the main teacher of that class. And this mentorship, this support that youth work provides, it's not a panacea to obtain all the rights that young people need more desperately than ever, but it's needed, it's important, and it's essential to allow young people in the various areas and life forms that they visit and they share to obtain these rights. Finally, the connection of EU to young people. As a young person myself, I was at some point in my life quite angry, I must say, towards the European Union, especially in what pertains to the so-called crisis, refugee crisis. In 2016, I was in Greece, and I visited City Plaza Hotel, occupied hotel by activists and volunteers and also refugees. And I was able to see the impact of the refugee crisis in local. And luckily, this anger that I had towards the European ideals and towards what I saw at that point, a failure of European Union and of European countries, which is still going on in many countries, by the way. Luckily, this anger that I had turned into something positive, which was and is community and community of practices. I was able to join many organizations that supported me in my path in youth work and also in my path as a trainer. And this to say that finally, to end, I asked my colleagues in the pool of training, in the pool of trainers, what they need and what they would like from this Bonn process. And they said that they committed to network, to have peer support, to share exchanges and good practices, and to solidarity. They also committed to empower themselves with the knowledge of the Bonn process and the European Youth Work agenda. To empower each other, but most of all to empower young people. And finally, they also committed to not input their own agenda and their own ego inside the work that they do. And this can be achieved by always learning and by reflection, self and shared with the peers. I am once again very grateful to have been here. This convention and this day will hold a special memory in my heart and in my mind. And I want to end with a message of thank you and courage to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you Alex. We should have agreed on the forenames with all of the participants, as getting all those different European names was maybe one of the biggest challenges in this whole week. Thank you for all of you for sharing your takeaways from the convention and giving us an outlook on how the Bonn process will look for you personally and in your field of work.